New Falls Count Anywhere, part of the Earnestly podcast. I'm your host, Ernest, EJ Christian. We are now officially on the road to WrestleMania, as we just now got through the Royal Rumble of 2026. And of course, we're joined here, of course, every week we do this with our man, one-third of the Minus One podcast, also host of the Rob the Genius podcast. It is my boy, Rob the Genius himself. Rob, what's going on, brother?
Hey, not much, man. How's everything?
Everything's good. I can't call it. I'm still going with this cough I've had for the last like 2 weeks. It's going away a little bit here and there, but it's still remnants of it now. Still a little remnants of it now, but hopefully by tomorrow it's be gone officially. But Royal Rumble officially in the rearview mirror. You did watch the entire show, right? I'm assuming.
Yes.
Did you enjoy the show?
Yeah. I thought particularly out of all the ESPN PLEs they've done so far, I enjoyed this one the most.
Really?
So,
so you had what? WrestlePalooza, Survivor Series,
Crown Jewel, and this. Yeah. For me, it was of the ESPN because WrestlePalooza was not great. Survivor Series had some problems.
Right.
Crown Jewel's fine. So yeah, for me, this was out of the four that they've done so far. I enjoyed this one the most.
So I just got a phone call from my kid in the room. Sorry about that. All right. No, to be honest, like I said, I'm still going through my ESPN. I guess if you want to call it a boycott, so be it. I just refuse to pay $30 a month for something I don't need. Like if I pay for ESPN, it's for literally the shows, because every other thing that I would pay, that I would watch on ESPN, I already get without the unlimited. So I'm basically would be paying for the shows. So basically, I'm back to 1996. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Call me cheap, call me frugal. I don't give a shit. That's where I'm at, brother.
What the funny thing though is, when I sat down and thought about it, when we consider that, the the streaming the streaming services, their whole business model is a big scam.
It really is.
And so the thing about it is, look, as much now I get I can watch them and not pay for them because I still got cable.
Yeah.
But if we're being honest about how much these companies should charge if they actually want to legitimately turn a profit, the ESPN price is closer to being the correct price than all these folks charging $10 a month, $6 a month, blah blah blah. Those are all bullshit prices.
Yeah.
Because for the amount of content they have and for what they have, the money that they have to pay to get all the licenses, and then of course to pay the people who work there and all of that. Like, yeah, I think Netflix is profitable now, but like most of these other ones are not. Almost all the other ones are not. And like Prime Video, they're not even trying to be profitable. They don't care. It's just a loss leader and same with Apple TV. Apple TV they've admitted it. It's a loss leader. They get people into Apple products. Um, so we're not paying a true market price for most of these streaming services, or else, and they just keep getting people to shovel more money into them, right?
Yeah.
So, the 30, whatever, 35, 30, whatever the ESPN price, honestly, that's probably closer to what the correct price should be.
Well, I don't doubt that, and I've always said on record too. Also, like Netflix $20 a month right now, people complain about that. Honestly, when you consider the amount of content you get from Netflix, it's actually underpriced. If you're being real about that. Now, I'm not trying to give them ideas to raise more prices again, but you get a lot of content that you wouldn't get elsewhere. Like you go to the movies, right? You pay the same price to see one movie for 2 hours, whereas you pay $20 for a service that you can watch at your beck and call at anywhere. on the road, at home, whatever it be. So it is a bargain in some ways. But because we were so trained early on to do it a certain way, you know, it's one of those things where we're just trained that way. I mean, it's just one of those things. But I get it. I totally get it. All right, so we had to pause that. My kids are in the room. I need my attention. No, like I've always defended the fact that these services, of course, they are still, if you look at it from what they give you and whatnot, the bargains. But we've been trained for years that these prices want to be low, and we I don't know if people thought it'd be forever that way, but you know, we knew at some point this would go up. And $20 a month is not bad still for Netflix. It's not bad for HBO. $15 a month for HBO, not bad either. But like I said, but I for me, with ESPN is different because again, everything I get for ESPN, I already get. The only thing I will want ESPN Unlimited for is strictly for the PLEs. So I'm personally essentially paying $30 a month for just to watch PLEs. That's it. And that's where I can't come to terms with that. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So that's where the big problem is for me. So again, I got to figure it out. WrestleMania weekend, I got to figure out when it happens again because remember, it's 2 nights I got to worry about. So, but anyway, let's get to the Royal Rumble. We had what? We ended up having 6. We had 4 matches. There's 2 dark matches, of course. What about that?
Yeah.
We had first. Let's go to the 2 matches first. Gunther defeating AJ Styles by submission. AJ Styles officially is done in WWE. Yeah. Seemed like it. We're supposed to retire in the competition. 24 minutes, 15 seconds. I didn't catch the match though, but the run was on the wall pretty early. We knew Gunther was going to win this, right? There's no surprises here on this one, right?
No. Well, I was hoping that maybe there was a chance, but no, there's no surprise that he won here.
Yeah. It's like so Gunther's what the career ender now, the career killer?
Yeah, I mean, so there's Goldberg, there's Cena, now there's AJ Styles. Mm-hmm. So the question is, like, who's it going to be next? I have a feeling that it may be Rey Mysterio.
Oh my God, another one? Jeez.
Well, because last night, Dragon Lee went after him.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw the highlights of that one yesterday.
Yeah, and then he basically killed him dead. I mean, and I think that ultimately is going to lead towards Rey Mysterio coming after him, and that would Rey would fit the bill. Because look, I don't think Brock Lesnar is going to do that. He's going to play ball with that kind of angle.
No, it's going to be something a little more wacky. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's purely wishful thinking on some people's part who maybe just don't want Brock to be around, right? So right now, I have a bad feeling that it's considering I mean, Dragon Lee went after him, and I think that eventually leads to Rey, going after him.
Yeah. So I it's funny, like, so AJ came to the company 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy because it's kind of bookended by his start, Rumble 2016, where he debuted. Obviously, his career ends at Rumble 2026. I wasn't watching real time, obviously, but I've been really obsessed with these the story hubs they do on WWE Vault and all their platforms. Mm-hmm. And they have one where there's one about AJ Styles' first year with the company, which I watched over the weekend, and it was really, really good stuff. Then I was watching there, all the feuds he did with Cena, the feud he did with obviously with Roman, and yeah, I mean, like I said, it's hard for me to really, I obviously appreciate AJ Styles to some degree, but I didn't catch. To me, I would say his peak, certainly even before WWE, I would say his peak stuff was he was doing his first couple of years in WWE, 2016, 2018. So it was hard for me to, obviously he's gone and it makes sense and all that, but Great career, obviously, Hall of Famer, you name it. One of the best in-ring guys I think I've ever seen. Certainly worthy of a Hall of Fame status, in my opinion.
Oh,
Um,
in multiple companies. I mean, look,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, WWE Hall of Famer. He's TNA has a Hall of Fame. He should go in there. Um, I don't know if New Japan has a Hall of Fame, but if they do, I mean, he should go there also. He's one of the most successful American wrestlers to come to New Japan.
Yeah. What else we have here? We have Drew McIntyre beating Sami Zayn by pinfall to retain the undisputed WWE Championship in 16 minutes 15 seconds. Again, another surprise. I'm glad that they're letting Drew ride his belt. I said it already. I'll say it again. He needs to be a title. He needs to be champion through WrestleMania and maybe beyond if possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying Drew. His work he's doing now. His heel work's amazing. I, not say about that. Look, I love Sammy, man, but I just don't see. I mean, look, can I see Sammy holding a belt for 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, same way Jay did it a couple months last year? Yeah. Is Sami Zayn a guy that's holding a title for a long time? Nah. And I say this as a guy who loves Sami Zayn, big Sami Zayn fan.
Oh,
But
well, I agree with you. I mean, and I mean, my position is that basically, like his whole act is geared around him not
yeah,
winning that one elusive championship.
yeah,
So, I mean, honestly, I don't think he should actually win it until he's near retiring. Like that should be
yeah,
his last big accomplishment because
yeah,
his whole character, his whole story is about him not winning that.
yeah. Totally agree. All right, now the two rumbles here. First off, Liv Morgan wins the wins the woman. Let me phrase that sometime. Liv Morgan wins the women's rumble, eliminating Tiffany Stratton. She'll get her championship match at WrestleMania. 1 hour, 7 minutes. You're not surprised Liv won, did you? Are you? I didn't pick Bianca,
Well,
but
once Bianca wasn't there, I mean, it
yeah,
was obvious.
yeah. And by the way, she's doing some great work, man. Liv, she really is. She's sold it. She's really sold it well. Like
Yeah, she is, and look,
we've come a long way in the last from 3 years ago, buddy. Let's put it that way.
oh yeah, yes, absolutely, and look, with Bianca not there, then she was definitely the right call because like anyone else, everyone else was occupied basically,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, she was once Bianca wasn't there, then she was the only one to pick this year.
Now she has picked her opponent, right?
Oh, she's gonna pick Stephanie Victoria. I mean,
You
she's
think you
not
think
gonna.
so? Mm, yeah.
I mean, well, I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean,
She ain't picking Jade. Come on now, Jade will destroy her.
well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's the only. I mean, so yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't see that, and I guess yeah, I've kind of reached the point of being a bit concerned about Bianca now because it's been almost a year, and
Yeah. So she did
and
Mania last year, and she did like another run. I think after that for like a month or so. And then she was out by last summer.
well,
So yeah,
because she was out after WrestleMania. She didn't come back after her last match was
at
WrestleMania.
all.
Yeah, so
Oh
that's where
shit.
she got injured. Uh, she got injured in that match at WrestleMania, and
But it wouldn't be worse idea for her to keep her out as long as possible, make sure she gets healthy. She's at a point now where, a lot of wrestlers through the years like say they worry about losing a spot. There's certain stars that won't lose their spot. She's one of those stars. She's
yeah,
too good. She's too much of a name now to lose her spot. Same with Seth Rollins. He can go in for a year. He won't lose a spot. He's Seth fucking Rollins.
right. And now,
Same with Bianca Belair. Yeah.
yeah, now look, now the women's roster is more crowded,
Yeah.
and so you know where she'll fit in when she gets back is I mean depending on when during the year she comes back. Um, I mean it will be a little bit more complicated fitting her in than if she was on the men's side. But no, I mean she's not going to be. I mean she'll look when she comes back. They will have a storyline and they will have a place for her for sure. Uh, I guess I just kind of assumed. Well, I think a lot of us assumed that she would be back here.
Yeah.
Uh, we just kind of assumed that they would just be holding her out to come back here. But if not, then who knows when she's going to be back? Because I can't see them bringing her back to work in the elimination chamber.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me though. I will say the chamber has been used as a very good crutch for a lot of big feuds in recent years. I mean, that's where we got Cena's turn last year.
Well, it's
So
just she.
it wouldn't have shocked me if like she comes back in the chamber and starts to pluck at Jade.
I guess the only thing is she's already won. She won the chamber last year. And she's already won it twice.
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily say her being involved in the chamber, more so just um maybe come back and just kind of start shit. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily having to wrestle in the chamber, but you know, who
Um,
knows?
I can't. I just.
Mm,
I mean, I think at this point, if she's not ready to come back, if she couldn't make it back for the Rumble, then I mean, I would hold it out till after WrestleMania.
right.
Well, I mean, we'll see though. I mean, um, because if it's just a matter of if it was a matter of her not being ready for the Rumble, but if she happens to be ready in 2 weeks, then and if they've committed to doing that match with her and Jade, then yeah, then you just go ahead and have her win the chamber again, and it's I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Good point. And then finally, the men's rumble, Roman Reigns wins by eliminating Gunther. Like I said, I caught the very tail end of the men's rumble. I think from 15 down. It was pretty entertaining. Roman winning, not surprised, pretty chalk. I'm really. I had picked Ron Breaker on the show last week, and he was gone
they took him out first.
immediately. Immediately, I'm like, oh well, that's gone. You know.
I mean,
Um.
I don't think anybody was expecting that,
Well,
but
first off, who do you think's the masked guy? The guy in the black?
it's not Seth Rollins because
No, it's too short.
um
They
man
tried to tease Austin Theory, but he wasn't he in the ring already or nearby already.
well no he came out later.
Yeah.
So it could be him, it could be Logan Paul because they
Mm-hmm.
both came out later.
Mm-hmm.
Um I mean, if I had to guess right now, I think it's one of those two. It's not LA Knight because the guy was too skinny to be LA Knight.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Way too small too.
so I'm guessing it's either Logan Paul or Austin Theory. I think.
So you think it's an inside job? It's one division.
Um,
It's got to be right.
yeah.
I don't see anybody in this past that would mess with him. But yeah, it's
Um,
definitely compelling television at this point. About who's fucking around
well,
the division. You know,
yeah.
creating division in division.
So and of course, look, this is all. I mean, if Seth Rollins hadn't gotten, I mean, this is they're still adjusting to Seth having gotten injured
Yeah. Yeah.
because obviously, I mean, if he hadn't gotten injured, then they're doing a whole different thing. Um, so I have no idea where this leads. But look, I've been calling Roman to win the Rumble since last fall. I
Yeah.
mean, to me, like everything was pointing towards him winning it. Um, and he was absolutely the right choice. I mean, I want
He's also a safe choice too, in my opinion. The safe choice.
what Rumble. I mean, it's always the same. They don't okay because I've been hearing people, saying that every year there are people saying that well they should use why don't they use it to build somebody new? They never do that.
Yeah, exactly. There's never used for that.
They never do
It's
that.
used for people who are ready for the next level. Because remember, it's to get into the Mania match. It's a
It's
champion.
it. It is for a match at WrestleMania.
That
They
logic applies to Money in the Bank, not to Royal Rumble. I agree with you, man, on that one. Money in the Bank, I understand that part. Yes, in a briefcase to establish something. But in a Rumble, you're already a main guy.
yeah. They don't take a flyer on somebody. like because I heard just different names thrown out there. A bunch of people mentioned, well, they could have used this to launch Obafemi. It's like most of the audience still doesn't know who he is.
Yeah,
Okay, most of the audience does not watch NXT. Most of the audience does not know who he is. Okay, and so no, I'm sorry, but it's irritating because people do this every year, the same old thing. Why don't and like they never do that. Okay, you can go back. I mean,
go back to the 80s, the late 80s Rumbles.
like
even people say, oh, well, Big John Studd. Well, he was established name too, also, guys.
yeah, and then Hacksaw Jim Duggan won the first one. He was an established,
Yeah,
and then especially like ever since they made ever since they started awarding a prize or basically a title match at WrestleMania for
yeah,
the winner of the Bowl, then yes, it needs to be somebody who you've already established being putting in that can be put in a world title match.
absolutely.
It is not. It's and this is at WrestleMania. This is not at like Backlash or something, right? I mean, so it is the biggest show of the year. You're going to get one of your established big name people is going to win, and we all know that the men's Rumble winner, well, we all know that the night two main event is going to be for one of the two men's titles. We know that,
Right.
and so
Well, and that was established last night on Raw because
well, yeah,
unlike Liv, Roman already picked his opponent. It's CM Punk.
yeah, and so we know that the night two is going to be for one until something else until something change until it's not. Night two is always going to be for one of the two men's world titles.
Yeah,
So that meant it was either if it wasn't going to be Roman, then it was going to be somebody like either Cody or Randy Orton. Okay, period. End of story. That's what it was going to be. That's what it's always going to be. Um, and it's the right call. I don't know if you saw Roman on Pat McAfee.
no.
Okay,
I better
because
wait. What was it after the Rumble, or before the Rumble?
before
Right.
because well, he said some stuff that can be kind of taken as kind of half shoot, half kayfabe.
Yeah.
And he basically said, "Look, he said I gave y'all 2 years, you know, basically I gave y'all 2 years to find somebody to put in my shoes, and y'all didn't. So now I'm here. Now it's time for me to just take back what belongs to me because I gave y'all 2 years to figure out something else to do, and y'all couldn't do it. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And
and
he's kind of
he
right.
mentioned, and he mentioned, like, and he even mentioned, the creative is like, well, because he even said like, well, we haven't evolved as creative, and in the last 2 years, which is true.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know that. Look, it's it's half shoot, half work, or like I don't think he. Nah, I mean, I doubt it was. No, it wasn't. He wasn't 100% shooting there. I'm sure that he didn't just come out there and say that stuff on his own. I'm sure,
Yeah.
but he's right, and so he is exactly the person who should have won it. He's exactly the person who should be closing WrestleMania this year. He is still
Yeah.
by far the biggest star in the company. Um, Nobody else is close, even now.
Not even Cody.
No, no.
Okay.
I mean, depending on what numbers you're looking at, I mean, you could. I mean, it's very easy to make a case that Punk is ahead of Cody. I mean,
Really?
if you look at various things, at times,
Your
look,
numbers guy.
it's
Your numbers guys. I lean on that,
yeah,
brother. Your numbers guy.
yeah. When it comes to certain, yeah, like if you're looking at like views for stuff, um, in particular, I mean, I mean, there are definitely some shows that sold more tickets when Punk was announced for them.
Right.
Um, so I mean, they're neck and neck, and they're both behind Roman. Like Roman is still the number one guy, and then there's a big space after that. Okay, between him and number two,
Yeah.
um, and that has not changed. And so and look, and you don't have a Cena retirement tour this year. Like you literally don't have any. Like you don't have anything else. There's no one else you would pick for this.
Yeah. I mean, you can go to Cody again, but I think like we discussed in the pod last week. There's some not there's not that there's fatigue yet, but you can start seeing it now. I think Cody is right now better off being in chase mode now as opposed to being the champion again. Because I think at some point you. But what did we say last week? I used an example of Hulk Hogan. We are right now with Cody Rhodes in 1990 Hulkamania right now. Well, he's still
Yeah,
top guy, still really popular, but there's okay, let's try some new things too. Also, let's not ride this thing too hard because there's some people getting a little fatigue, not fatigue there, but you start to see little signs. He's certainly
yeah,
peaked out. He's certainly climaxed already.
and so I think he's at kind of in a space where you have to kind of manage. You got to manage how you use him now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you can't just send him out there and have him do what he's been doing. What
Yeah,
he's been doing for the past couple of years. Um, you got to put him in there, you know, with the right opponents. Um, and as far as putting the belt back on him, you have to, you know, whenever that's going to happen, you got to time that right. Um, and yeah, and I think right now there's certain people. I think you got certain opponents you probably just shouldn't put him in there with because
right.
you're not going to get the reaction that you want.
And yet, there's a possibility he may still end up with a title anyway by WrestleMania because if I had to predict right now before we get to Chamber a couple weeks, I think we're heading towards a Drew and Cody WrestleMania match.
Oh well,
And
yeah, because Drew caused Cody to be eliminated, so
correct.
that's not for nothing.
That's
And
so right. So I think we're heading to that situation now. Now, what I would do if I was in the writers' room is I would write with Drew winning the title, winning the keeping the title WrestleMania. Keep that going. I think it's too easy to give Cody the title. It's just too easy.
yeah, I agree. I think we're at a point now where I think right now they need to, it is too easy, and I think right now you really do you need to stop and you need to think about how you're going to go about doing that. Like you can't just do it anymore.
Right. Now I can see him getting it back at SummerSlam. I'd be okay with that, but don't force it. Let this cook a little bit. If he loses, okay. I mean, yeah, it'll be two losses in a row WrestleMania. Last year to Cena, now this to you have nothing to Drew. But what's a better story? Giving the
Yeah,
Cody's just too easy to me, man. That's just too easy. It's
well,
lazy.
and part of the problem is that they didn't really have a compelling story for him after WrestleMania 40.
Who's that? Cody.
Yeah.
And we warned this about this 2 years ago. Like, okay, you did the easy part. The easy part was the chase. Now what?
Yeah, and look, I mean, and now they were able, there was so much just buzz coming out of WrestleMania 40 that they were, it wasn't a problem
It was on
for
cruise
at least
control.
for the rest of 2024 it wasn't a problem because they were just riding the wave. But yeah, you could see like especially after he won the title back from Cena last year, there's just yeah, I mean there's no story. Like you need some type of compelling story with him now because we're past the point where people were happy to see him beat Roman and people were happy to see him be the champion and all of that. Um, Now that being said, I don't know. I mean, Drew's gonna have it for a while, but I don't think Drew's gonna have it for like a year or anything like that. So there comes a question of, you know, how are you going to handle that? Because you don't want to put it back on Cody too early, but who are you going to have hold it until then? I think it's a serious question they got to answer.
Right.
'Cause look, I think Drew will be fine. You can go with Drew, all the way through WrestleMania. I think you can go with him a little bit longer after that, but I don't think I don't think you can make it a whole year with Drew. Well, I mean, I don't know. Well, it depends, right? Again, it depends on the story. If you can build a compelling story around people, trying to take
Right.
the title from
But
him, from
mhm.
Drew, then yeah, you
but
you can have an extended
but
title
but that's
reign.
just it though. I don't need a whole year of Drew either. I just need a respectable 6 to 9 month reign, and I'm good with that. And that puts you at SummerSlam, and I'm fine with
Yeah,
that. I can
it's
live with
just
that.
well, this is just for them. They got to figure out, okay, if after Drew, then if they're not gonna go from Drew right back to Cody, if they're not gonna go from Drew back to Cody, then who's gonna be in between? They got to figure that out. Um, and then how you go about getting there and all that type of stuff, and they're gonna have to.
Right. So we saw last night Roman pick Punk.
Yes.
I initially was kind of meh on the idea of a Punk Roman WrestleMania main event, but sitting and thinking about it for the last couple of days when he won the Rumble on Saturday, and then yesterday when he picked Punk officially on Raw, I'm thinking to myself, well, actually, there's a lot of stuff you could unpack here in the next 2 months. There's a story there, and it's not just like so much between Roman and Punk directly in terms of like in ring, but it's a lot of stuff that happened with Punk leaving the company in 2014, things that were done beforehand when Roman was still on the come up, and now where Roman's at now. Punk is back in the company 3 years later. There's a lot of things you can actually use
Yeah.
for to build this thing next 2 months to what's compelling beyond just the typical "I hate you" and let's fight. There's really some
Well,
stuff, dirt sheet stuff you can use also too that can really make this thing very much a fight. Looking forward to watching in April.
they started doing that last night,
Yep.
so I mean, they're definitely gonna lean into that. And look, I think they are the best. Well, this is the biggest match you can make, really, for WrestleMania. They're the
For
two,
the year, based on right now. Yeah.
yeah, right, yeah, and then because for all the reasons we said about Cody, you can't circle back and do Cody and Roman right now. Maybe next year you can do that, but out of what they have to work with right now, this is the biggest match you can make because Roman is the biggest star in the company, and Punk is no worse than number three.
Right.
And just it just depends on what day it is. Some days it's Cody, some days it's him.
And be honest, with you, I'll be straight up with you, Rob. He's been back what 2.5 years now, close to 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Um, he's still red hot. I'm
Yes.
stunned. I'm stunned. He's still red hot. I'm stunned. I thought it would have cooled
Um,
off after a while.
but I mean, he was that big when he left the first time.
I understand that, but I thought, we talking about like 10 years later, over 10 years later. I thought, okay, you'll get the pop initially, but can he sustain this? And he's more sustained this at this point.
Well, yeah, and I mean, the way he left, he left in such a way that there are people clamoring for him to come back the whole time. Then he showed up in AEW, and I mean, he really was this big of a deal. Honestly, I think he's bigger now than before than when
You think
before.
so?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
I can't speak on that because I wasn't watching in real time at the time he was.
I I think I think because I think he's bigger now,
That's an
and
interesting question. I should ask the IWC that question.
honestly, look, after I mean, he and Roman are, in my opinion, he and Roman are the two best all around male performers. when you combine ring work and character work and promos and everything, I think he and Roman are the two best guys there. And so, yeah, I mean, this is again. There's nobody else to put. I mean, who else were you going to put in that spot?
I mean,
Nobody.
it's with Cody because obvious reasons, as we said. Really, there's really no one else you can do that. Anything else you
Yeah.
put in there is a new kid in the block. You know, whether it's Fatu, whether it's with
And
Family, whether it's Sol Sokoa. I mean, anything you put in that spot, it's going to be brand new.
honestly, and they're going to look like a substitute. And if you put Roman in some other match, then that's going to overshadow your world title match.
Yeah, and to boot also, it's been 2 years since Roman hit the title. I'm not even saying Roman's win the title this Mania, although I suspect he will win it. But nor does he need it. But at the same time, it's been 2 years. It's been two
Well,
years.
yeah, I mean, and it's not about needing. It's it's about what makes for the best product.
But what's happening too is that Roman is now at a point now where where he is now is exactly where Vince wanted him to be 10 years at this time. But
Yeah,
he's getting cheered now. But the
yeah.
difference between Roman 10 years ago, which by the way, I got to tell you, in watching that AJ Styles documentary and seeing Roman against him, I got to tell you, Roman is not that he's unwatchable back then, but if you see Roman's character now from 2020 on to present day versus before then, it's two different guys. I don't even recognize the old Roman Reigns anymore.
Oh, yeah,
I
from a
really
character
don't. I really don't.
yeah. Well, no, he's an entirely different character now. Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Even as a babyface, he still has that kick ass. I'm him. I'm the guy. And yes, the arrogance still there.
Yeah, and so I mean, it is a different. Yeah, he is an entirely different character than he was 10 years ago. Um, and again, he is the biggest star in the company, and this is WrestleMania, and so again, y'all just got to stop. This idea that that they should have. Well, they should have. Given somebody. No, stop it.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, unless Roman. I mean, if Roman's there, if he's available and he's working, it's WrestleMania. You're damn right he's gonna main event night two. Yes, he absolutely should. And nobody else should do that. Nobody else should be there
Yeah.
after them.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. I agree. Well, we have 2 months. I think Mania's in the middle of April, right?
Yeah, and so well now, Punk is still has a little feud going with Finn Balor, so
Yep.
that'll keep him occupied for probably for February.
Mm-hmm.
And then
They'll jack this thing up after Elimination Chamber. They'll jack this thing up heavy.
yeah,
Yeah, should be fun build. I think, and I think because of me not being watching the product in real time when Punk left and seeing some of the things that was going on behind the scenes, that's going to make this feud even more interesting heading into WrestleMania. I'm looking forward to the. I think even more so than the match itself. I think the build is going to be phenomenal.
yeah, and
Looking forward to the build.
and then these two guys they don't need you don't need a whole bunch of gaga going
No,
on.
you don't need that. You don't need Heyman. None of that.
No.
Although Heyman may get involved just to add spice to it because he did manage both guys. So
Yeah, but
who knows?
Look, I don't think you need them for this.
I doubt. But do you need it? No, I agree with you 100%. I don't think you need them. All right. So like I said, we still got a couple months before WrestleMania, so we have a lot of time to talk about that. We still have Elimination Chamber coming up very very soon, in a few weeks. So we'll discuss that in weeks to come. All right. Before we get to the next topic, this year is also the 35-year anniversary of the 1991 Royal Rumble, which took place at the Miami Arena on January 19th, 1991 in Miami, Florida. 16,000 was in attendance. The tagline was friend versus friend, foe versus foe. It's every man for itself. We had 7 matches here. One was a dark match between Jerry Saggs and Sam Houston. The Rockers, Shawn Michaels, Jim Jannetty defeated Orient Express, Kato and Tanaka. We got Big Boss Man defeating the Barbarian, but Bobby Heenan in Barbarian's corner. The big one, of course, Sergeant Slaughter with General Hernandez's corner, defeating Ultimate Warrior. Of course, that was when Savage entered that match. We discussed in this podcast last week. My number one Rumble moment of my life. The Mountie with Jimmy Hart defeating Coco Beware. We had Ted DiBiase and Virgil defeating Dusty Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes. Of course, that was the night also where Virgil and DiBiase also broke up after 4 years together. And then, of course, Hulk Hogan wins the Rumble by eliminating Earthquake in an hour and 5 minutes, 17 seconds. I run on this card, Rob. What comes to mind?
Man, a lot of filler.
It really was. It's a two match. It's really a 2 match Rumble. Well, I guess the DiBiase stuff was kind of cool because the DiBiase Virgil thing ended up being a big deal because they ended up meeting at Mania, and of course you remember DiBiase and Virgil being together for a long time. That was a big deal. But other than that, pretty much a filler card.
Yeah. And so this had 7 matches on the actual broadcast. So nowadays, I mean, the past 3 years, it's been a 4-match card. Yeah, personally, I think 5 would be about perfect. I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but again, some of these matches are filler. Now from what I remember, like the opening match, the tag team match, the Rockers and the Orient Express was really good.
Oh, no, I'm not one surprised. I mean, those guys kill it in the ring.
But now of course, the most newsworthy match was the world title match where Sergeant Slaughter beat the Ultimate Warrior, and where basically that was a panic call. Because Warrior just was not drawing worth a damn, and they had to just they had to get the belt off of him because it just wasn't working at that point. It just was not working.
Yeah. No, you're right, and I know there was a lot of like desire from the fans to see Warrior Hogan 2 a year later, but Vince was going to do that again, back to back years. And he was still in that mindset. Even though Warrior Hogan was a heel face versus face match last year, that was a special attraction. He ain't doing that. He wasn't going to do it on a normal basis. So the only way to get that title off for him and to get hooked back on Hogan and to get Savage involved was this was actually genius by Vince to get Savage to be the one that cost the match. Then these two meet in Mania in a classic match at Mania 7. And Hogan and Slaughter end up going at it at Mania 7 as well, too, also.
Yeah.
I always thought that what if Vince continued to ride the wave in a couple more months with Warrior? Like, let's say Vince said, you know what? I know things are down. Let's ride this another few months. Let's see what happens. Let's get to Mania. Could you have seen a scenario where Warrior goes to Mania as champion?
I mean,
I always thought about that, actually.
I thought, well, it's just, I think if he was drawing well enough, he would have.
Yeah, he would have.
But if so much back then, house shows were still a major driver of revenue, and like you couldn't afford to have those just not selling. And back then, no, we were, the business that's the entire business has started to kind
slip.
Slip. 1990. So
how would you book the Warrior though? Let's say Warrior got through the Rumble. Who would be the next guy up to face him? You're not going to go Hogan, obviously, again.
Well, no.
Would you make that Savage Warrior for the title? Actually, given how that match was in the end.
I mean, if I was going to keep the belt on Warrior until WrestleMania, then I guess probably would have a feud with Savage.
The biggest heel was Earthquake at the time.
Yeah, but Hogan had just been beating him like a drum because they got to the point in the feud where Hogan was winning all the matches because they were they were just I mean, you could have done that. But the fact, I mean, he wasn't drawing, so
Yeah,
like it probably wouldn't have mattered. I mean, it's just things have just gotten so bad under him in ways. Yeah, and they got bad in ways that you could actually look at and point to him as being, part of the problem. So they had to take the belt off of him.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, I mean, Hogan winning again, back to back years in the Rumble. Pretty much putting the Earthquake feud to bed
Yeah.
at that point. Yeah, it was like I said, it was a pretty static Rumble. Red hot crowd, obviously, but it was pretty static. Other than Warrior losing the title and the Savage thing, being a big deal. Obviously, I said DiBiase and Virgil splitting up. That was it. That was
Mhm.
it. Like we're going some really lean times in WWE at this point. And we didn't know at the time. So, and this is also after, I believe, a week after, or a couple days after they declared war on Iraq as well. So we'll mill all that shit on top of that. So, I remember this like it was yesterday, man. I do remember this definitely, very, very, very closely. I was still watching at the time, but was definitely starting to check out a little bit,
And
a
so was
little
I.
bit,
Yeah.
a little bit. I was
Um,
10 years old, but was
I,
starting to okay, you know,
just at this point, so January of '91,
yeah. I was turning 11 this year,
I was
so
16.
at this point, Rob, I had started watching football heavily.
And
My
watching
New
this
York
too.
Giants,
Yeah.
my New York Giants would win the Super Bowl a week later after this. So it's Buffalo. So my attention in '91 started to shift from wrestling to sports. I was still
Well,
watching
same here.
wrestling, but was not at the same volume it was in '88, '89, '90. So
And look, well, for me, that was the final Super Bowl run of the Joe Gibbs era.
yeah, a year later, yep,
Well, because 1991, well, yeah, that was because actually, they played the game in '92 when they won
correct.
the
Because
last time.
like I said, the Giants won the Super Bowl like literally 8 days after this Rumble.
Yeah.
So, and you guys won it during next year. So, all right, before we get you out of here, buddy, I want to play a new game with you,
All right.
called One's Gotta Go, and if I can find this on my freaking screen. No, 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 no. I don't do that. Shoot. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Video file, image file, image file. There it is, right there. So 4 wrestlers, and one of them has to go. It's very simple. On the screen here, you have Stone Cold Steve Austin, you have The Rock, you have Bret Hart, and you have Shawn Michaels. Of all these 4 wrestlers, you got to remove one career from the list. Which one are you picking and why?
Okay. Um, keep, well, you got to keep Austin because there's no attitude era without Austin.
Right.
Uh, the entire shift in the tone of the programming was birthed because basically he got over being that type of character. And so that kind of basically him getting over playing that type of character paved the way for them to change the tone and all that stuff. So you can't get rid of Austin. Um, I don't think you can get rid of Brett because Brett was pivotal to the formation of the Mr. McMahon character, right? The origin of
He
that
was.
was screwing Brett at the Montreal Screwjob, and at that point, Brett was the only guy you could do that to because I mean a lot of people hated Sean's guts,
Yeah.
and for a lot of different reasons. But Brett was the only guy like you could do that to and get the kind of reaction that it got. I mean, maybe well, maybe Undertaker, but he's not here as a cat. He's a
Right.
contestant.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
So
so
it comes
it
down
would
to two
have to be.
guys, the Rock and Sean. It comes down to wow.
Um, man, this is where it gets tough because I mean, I keep Rock because look, everything post like everything post Attitude Era was basically like him becoming who he was, 2000, 2001, 2002, and 2003. That was kind of like the kind of bedrock for everything that came after, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because remember Austin got injured and couldn't, he missed a year. And that's when Rock really blew up and became like the number one guy. And like the popularity of the company that took place while, during his time as the, top active guy, basically,
It never fell off.
yeah, but I think just like where he took things to built something that they were able to just like, even though things fell off after he, left, what they had built under him those few years where he was the number one guy was strong enough that they were able to hang on for the next 20 years, or at least until Cena really took off. Um, so I would keep Rock. And of course, and look, Rock was a pivotal part of WrestleMania 40, right?
Yeah.
Uh, when he came back for 28 and 29, that was another thing that helped kind of start or kind of at least, set the ship right again. So I think you got to keep him. I think so. That leaves Sean. I think Sean is the one who. Yeah, I mean, I think you could have gotten. I mean, if you had to, out of the, I mean, because I mean, he was Intercontinental Champion for a while. He
Mm-hmm.
made it a few WrestleManias, but I mean, yeah, I mean, so he won a few Royal Rumbles, but I think, yeah, I think out of these four guys, if you had to do without one, out of these four, I would say Sean.
Here's what I'll say: if Sean didn't have the run from 2002 on, the answer is easy for me. It's Sean with a bullet. Because even though I love Sean's run in 96, 97 into early 98, and it's not my favorite Sean run, there's a lot of issues there, personal issues with number one. Um, and the company was not doing very well under his guidance. What do you call it? Wasn't under his him being the top guy. Um, but Sean does have that run 2002 till retirement, and you get classic WrestleMania matches. You get great feuds. You get it's tough because you can't. Austin's not going to go anywhere because Austin is the centerpiece of everything we've seen in the last 30 years. Um, The Rock, it's funny. The Rock, if The Rock didn't have the 2012 run with Cena back to back years and then WrestleMania 40, The Rock might be the one I would be okay with getting rid of, except the fact that he's this Hollywood Rock, while short lived in 2003, was my favorite run of his. You can't get rid of Rock. It's just impossible because he's done so much great things.
Yeah.
Although I would probably say I enjoy Sean's ring work more. I mean, Brett's ring work more than Rock's. Um, Unfortunately, Brett for me because he's had the shorter peak than these guys. But it's not to say that Brett is not deserving to be on this list because again, if you take away Sean's 2002 through retirement, it's Sean's gone with it and not even close. But because he has that, you can't take out Austin, and The Rock has had now relevancy now going now 30 something years now. Brett, outside of his run in 97, and of course what he did between 92 and 96, you know, is there anything else you can, comparatively speaking, like Sean has those runs that just stand out more. Like Brett's a better technical wrestler than all four of these guys, but Sean is Mr. WrestleMania. Sean has so many. Of the four guys, Sean has the best matches on the biggest stage. All these four guys,
Yeah.
and that's what saves Sean. So it means Brett. you know, I mean, I love Brett, obviously, but it's got to be Brett for me. That's because for that reason alone. You know, because once Brett left in '97, he was pretty much done because WCW was a fucking failure.
Yeah.
You know, so that's all you have there. All you have with Brett really is '92 to '97. That's it. So it's almost like by default. Otherwise, it'd be Sean easily but Sean has the 2002 and beyond to save his ass. You know, it's tough though, because there's a part of me that wants to take off the Rock also too. But can you really, after WrestleMania 40, after Cena back-to-back years, after Hollywood Rock, and he's still relevant, and of course Hyde Powers and how's the era? Can you really, with a straight face, take off the Rock? Not really. You really can't.
I don't think so.
So that's why you can't do that. So, there you have it. There. Anyway, Rob, anyone plug?
Yeah, as always, every week you can hear me on the Mindless Wrestling Podcast with DJ and Jason, and you can hear me every few weeks on the Rob Genius Podcast.
All right. Of course, you can follow me on X at EJChristian7. Once again, Falls Count Anywhere here on the Earnestly Podcast. We'll come to you guys next week, hopefully, and we'll talk more wrestling with you guys. Anyway, stay up. God bless, and until next one.